Up Tournament of Champions Classic. We do have a video from Key ENT. That is his X account. But Tournament of Champions, as you guys can see right there, that's Jacob Wilkins. He had a magnificent performance this past week. Led the team in scoring. Just continues to, be able to be that punishing finisher around the rim. He finished with 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, and a 77-68 win over Wheeler. This could be a potential state championship matchup we could potentially see here in the future. So 2 really elite teams came down to the end. As you guys can see, they was talking the smack back and forth, man. So it was an electric game. This was the Tournament of Champions. Also, other standouts, Holly Innocence, Caleb Wilson, 32 points, 16 rebounds, and a 72-58 win over Alexander. You had McKeitron Mason McMillan drop 20 points and 6 threes, and an 84-59 win over Kell. And Georgia Tech commit Eric Chatfield dropped 22 points and 6 assists, and an 81-71 win over Peachtree Ridge. But as we roll in these clips, Craig, what's just your thoughts on Grayson? I mean, look, they reload the talent from last year. Obviously, Caleb Hope being an addition to the team. They got a transfer over from Kell as well. Just what's your thoughts on their team and how deep they are?
That was like a month of highlights in one game. Very impressive. The back-to-back blocks, the finishing at the rim. Jacob Wilkins, that guy definitely plays above the rim. That was impressive.
And Georgia fans, y'all should be happy. Obviously, the team's having a good year. I've said it. I think you guys should be ranked when it comes to the AP poll, just based off of the winning you guys doing. Asa Newell has been impressive, but now you bring another big-time front court player in with this class. Georgia basketball is looking up for you guys, and you guys should make a tournament this upcoming year.
Instead, he had 4 blocks in that win. I think after those 4, they decided maybe that's not the best strategy. They got stuffed pretty hard.
Yes, for real. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to our Georgia High School football morning review and talk about the latest there, starting with the finals pedigree. As you guys see there are these are seasons of the most recent championship game appearance of the 16 finals. First is Hebron Christian in North Oconee, first ever time making it. Also Northeast and Toombs County. Last time they got in was 2011 for Burke County. 2020 for Grayson and Jefferson. As you guys know, Grayson had a really good year that year. Came just short last year. 2021, Brooks County, Calhoun, and Carver Columbus. 2022, Carrollton and Hughes. Obviously, Carrollton came up a little bit short to Mill Creek, and Hughes won their first ever state championship. And then Bowden in 2023, Milton, who won it all in 2023 as well, and Prince Avenue Christian looking to three-peat as well. So, guys, make sure you get your morning review by scanning that QR code as well. Profiles of 16 head coaches that made the finals. Heritage Ringo coach Slaughter resigns. He's resigned Monday after 11 seasons, the final 9 of which produced playoff berths. Heritage was 71-49 overall under Slaughter and 6-5 in 2024. Slaughter's teams only had 2 losing seasons, though lost in the first round each of the past 8 seasons as well. Craig, what's your reaction to that? I know you're big on the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, just a really solid Northwest Georgia program up in Ringgold. I think there's a lot of great football being played up there, and 11 years, he did a great job there. I think he leaves it in good hands.
Certainly. He said this to Chattanooga's Times Free Press. These have been the best 11 years of my career. Heritage is a really special place, and everybody here in the faculty and staff and Booster Club folks have made this a special place. He said it's very difficult. I love the guys and coaches, and I always will. All right, let's go to Monday's trivia question. Just to pull that up. What 3 coaches with previous state titles can win championships with a second school next week? The coaches with previous state titles is Jonathan Guest, current Hebron Christian head coach. He won a lot of titles at Eagles Landing Christian. Joey King of Carrollton, he won some at Cartersville. And Franklin Stevens in Burke County, he won a couple at Tucker. All right, let's go to today's trivia question. What is the only school system that has 2 teams in the finals? Let me think about it.
That is a tough one.
I'm thinking. Let me see. Oh, okay, I know. It's Fulton.
Fulton, you got Milton?
Got Milton Hughes.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
All right. You got that one.
I had to think about it a little bit, but yeah, Fulton County. But we'll have the answer to make sure I'm right or wrong. I'm sure they'll tell me obviously after we go to break. But that's all we got for this first segment. Coming up is Greenbrier's head flag football coach to talk about the excellent program who are on their way to the semifinals.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
The Georgia Sheet Metal JETC equips apprentices with the knowledge and skills required to start a rewarding career in the sheet metal industry with programs in HVAC, industrial welding, and testing, adjusting, and balancing. Training is 100% free and allows apprentices to earn as they learn. Journeymen graduate with no student debt and have the potential to earn more than most college graduates. Visit our website to learn more about this opportunity at careersinsheetmetal.com.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
Man, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Najee Wilkins along with Craig Sager. So now it's time for some flag football. We're going to bring on Greenbrier head coach Dan Jordan. Just talk a little bit about his great team that he's been building. 19-1. Their only loss was under Corky, Kell, Dave Hunter flag football classic, 12-6 loss to Alatoona. So let's bring him on.
Hey, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear. How's everything going?
It's going good. I'm actually on the way back from we had a pre-meeting at the Benz. It's a little early because we don't know if we're going yet, but they had everybody in the semifinals come. So glad to we're at least still in the conversation.
100%, Coach. We appreciate you just taking the time to do this call. And I want to ask you, Coach, just give us a little bit of an update just from when we last seen you. I know you guys have been dealing with a lot, obviously dealing with the hurricane. I know that kind of ravaged the community a little bit. Just how have you guys been able to just, with so much happening outside of just the sport of flag football, been able to just kind of galvanize each other together and be able to have such a great run?
Well, I think, sports in general can help with going through hard things. And, certainly some of our communities dealt with devastating loss and lots of loss of property and things like that are still hard, can be replaced. But most of our immediate team felt like, very blessed and thankful that we didn't have worse damage. But I think it's been cool to see our girls just enjoy each other. Sometimes on a team, you can get egos and, certain people wanting to get certain touches or points or scores or stats. And I think this year they've really embraced celebrating each other, and that's pretty cool to see.
Certainly, Coach. And speaking of, obviously, you talked about like the roster a little bit, and it's very youthful. I think you got only 2 seniors on the roster, a lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores. Just talk about being able to get the most out of them, Coach, being so young, but also being willing to listen to you and willing to take in some of that coaching and it translating to the field.
Well, we are young in some ways, but we have a huge junior class and a lot of 3-year starters right now. So. And a group who's done it last year. We only graduated 3 seniors last year. So our core group is largely the same. I think that they believe in each other. Last night we had a tough game, 6-6, and we were up 6-0, gave up a touchdown to Locust Grove. They had a chance to take the lead with a minute left. They didn't get the extra point. And then we stayed calm and drove the ball down the field and scored with 12 seconds left. I think that one thing that makes us our team special is that we believe anybody on our team can make that, game-winning play when their chance is called. We trust everybody on offense to make the catch. We trust everybody on defense to do their job. And that to me is the hardest thing to defend whenever all 7 people can score anytime,
And then, Coach Jordan, talk about how big of a matchup that was against Locust Grove. We had our Miss Georgia finalists. You got Katie Smith at quarterback, Skylar Anderson, one of the best receivers. I believe they were undefeated. So just what was it like going up against one of the top-ranked teams in your division in this last round?
Oh, it's definitely not an easy matchup for a quarterfinal game. We didn't get any favors with the bracket. I mean, I look at our bracket in general, and we kind of knew going into area championships that being the 1 seed in our area was not the easier bracket. And so just based on who we thought was going to be in each round, and we knew it was a tough road, but we either face them in the quarterfinals or some other time. If you're the best team, you're going to have to beat the other best teams, So we try not to shy away from that challenge. And I mean, their team speed is very difficult to deal with. Their quarterback gets rid of the ball quickly. Very good on defense. We were pressed for sure last night.
That's right, and you guys were able to get that number 1 seed. Looks like Area 1 has had a lot of success in the playoffs. Evans is still in it. Looks like Grovetown ended up losing to North Oconee, who's still in it, and then Lakeside Evans also. So how did your area really prepare you guys this season, and how tough do you think it is?
Well, we do think our area is tough, and it's hard to, you see rankings and stuff. We try not to really pay attention to anything because you don't know our area compared to other areas, how they are. So we just, try to just take it one game at a time. But certainly our area is feels like a gauntlet during our regular season, especially playing the same teams multiple times. We played Lakeside 3 times this year, played Evans twice, Grovetown 3 times. Grovetown was, I think, North Oconee scored on the last play to beat them to qualify. Lakeside got beaten overtime. I mean, it's not too crazy to think that we could have had any one of our 4 teams, still alive. And I think that's a testament to good talent and also the game growing in our area. I think us having success last year was good for everybody. It was a lot of positives. And I'll say the other coaches in our area have been class acts with our success. They've been encouraging, and it's been certainly some battles that's made us better too.
Yeah, and then Coach Jordan, your defense has been outstanding all year long. We saw you at the beginning of the season. What's the biggest kind of improvement you've seen just with the way the girls are playing this year?
Well, I tell you, Alatoona did some stuff offensively that we were not ready for. We thought, we've got pretty much everybody back on our defense, minus 1 rusher, but we had a really good rusher, and minus a corner, but we had another really good corner come up, which is a neat story. Is a cheerleader, varsity cheer, which at our school is very competitive. We had a couple cheerleaders decide to try flag football, and she's been a huge addition at corner, Lexi Lacey. So that's been pretty cool. Great leader, hard worker. But we learned a lot from that loss, I think. We kind of got exposed. I mean, honestly, we felt we were outcoached pretty good by Alatoona. Obviously, they have a great reputation and long time good team. But
and then real quick, talk about this upcoming matchup, semifinals against Jenkins. What do you like about this matchup in your favor?
Well, honestly, I don't know a lot about Jenkins yet. I talked just briefly with Lakesid's coach last night, just a text on the way home. They had a tough loss. So he kind of filled me in a little bit just about their team speed, quarterback's dynamic. She throws and runs really well. Lots of athletes to catch the ball, team speed on defense. I don't know that I necessarily could say I like anything in our matchup. I met their coach this morning and very cordial and, got a lot of respect for what they've done already this season.
Now, Coach, I have a few questions. I want to ask you about some of your star players, and I want to start with Maggie Pangle. Obviously, that's your dynamic playmaker, and Kenzie Horton, your quarterback. Just what makes that tandem so good, and just these girls being to have such a prolific offense as well?
Well, Maggie, she's a three-year starter, returning starter both ways. Kenzie's 4-year, and them both being seniors, haven't gotten to play a lot of flag football together. With the rest of our receiving core, Preston McDermott and Aaliyah Silver, same thing. They've played a lot of flags football, and they played most of it together. I do think there's an advantage with that, just the familiarity and trust. And Kenzie knows she can throw the ball to any of her receivers when it's crunch time. And whatever the other team's given us, we're going to try to take that and trust that, any one of them can make the play. Maggie really showed her grit last year in the state championship game. She sprained her ankle really bad and came back at the end of the game and made some phenomenal catch to, give us the lead. I think, in our area, it was kind of legendary, what we call it. But, Kenzie is such a special quarterback. Sees the field really good, very accurate passer. Thankful that we get to coach her and she gets to make us look good sometimes.
100%. Well, Coach, that's all the time we have. I want to say good luck in the semifinals, and hopefully you guys get into the championship game again. It's been an honor watching you guys, and good luck the rest of the way, Coach.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate all y'all do.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, coming up, we will have the boys basketball rankings. Craig has some really good rankings coming up, so you stay right here on the Peachtree Sports Network.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Najee Wilkes along with Craig Sager. So now it's time for some hoops and to talk about the latest going on around the state. We talked about Grayson picking up a big win, obviously against Wheeler, 77-68. Also, in other results, Newton defeated South Gwinnett in their game this past week. But I'm going to let Craig take it away and talk about the latest rankings.
Yeah, so last week I said that Newton-South Gwinnett was the most intriguing matchup I felt. South Gwinnett was undefeated going into it. Newton has had, honestly, it's one of the toughest schedules we've seen this season. They're 6-3. They're playing really well. A 55-50 win at South Gwinnett, that was huge. They're in that region with Grayson. Grayson looks like they're going to win it, but Newton, obviously it's a big rivalry with Grayson, but if they can get that home court in the playoffs, that will be huge for them. A big test for them. You have number 4 Walton. They're on the climb. They beat Mays 69-59, and joining the team is baseball signee Caden Gilstrap. He was also their starting quarterback. I think he's actually a 4-sport athlete. He had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. So he is in the rotation now. Walton is a top 5 team. They've been playing outstanding. The other big result I feel like was McEachern, a team that obviously had Ace Bailey last year. Were in that top 2 conversation. They're playing a lot better, and they had a huge win over Kell, 84-59, probably their most dominant performance of the season. They also beat Pebblebrook 55-49, and we already talked about Lambert. What Cam Bland did, the 40 points and becoming their all-time leading scorer. A big matchup to watch this week is going to be Newton against Heritage Conyers. That will be a region matchup. We have Heritage Conyers in our Corky Kell Basketball Classic coming up. They're going to play Newton, Rockdale County, and then they'll have that matchup against Redan. They are coming off back-to-back losses, though, including a big one against Grayson. So Heritage is going to want to bounce back. That will be tonight at Newton.
All right, let's go to 5A real quick here. Milton ended up defeating Seconder, who's number 10 on Craig's list, 74-52. And then you have Wynneberto defeating Gainesville, also another ranked matchup, 62-49. Jared Samuel poured in 26 points, 9 boards, and 3 assists. Go ahead, Craig.
So this one, Riverwood, they are the defending state champs. They fell down, I believe, to number 9 this week. They had a tough loss to Pope. That was at the Sandy Spiel event, 56-49. I still like Riverwood. Obviously, they had to replace a lot from their team last year. You still got Milton at number 1. They beat Seconder. Obviously, that is a region opponent, a team that finished really high in Class 4A last year. They're still on the build. That was a 74-52 win for number 1 Milton, but then Seconder actually had a huge win over Decula to follow that and end the week 74-55. You still have Woodward Academy at number 2. They were out of state all this last weekend. And then Wynneberto had a huge win over Gainesville, top 10 win, 62-49. Gainesville's 4-3 right now, but I still feel like they are a very solid team that will be in that conversation looking to make a big run. And then Lee County, they're off to a 4-1 start, sitting at number 5.
All right, let's go to 4A. In that one, Pace Academy defeated Peachtree Ridge 81-71. We just talked about Eric Chatfield, who dropped 22 points and 6 assists. Norfolk Coney went 3-0 this week. Justin Wise averaged 25.7 points per game.
Right. All right. So Class 4A, Pace Academy has been number 1. You've had North Coney. They lost, I believe, last week, so they moved down in the poll. They were sitting at number 3. Eagles Landing has jumped in. Southwest DeKalb made the biggest jump this week, all the way from number 10 to number 6. They beat Class 2A's number 2 team, Columbia, 65-48, and then had a win over St. Pius, you see at number 10, 54-50. So St. Pius, that 4-point loss, it's not enough to drop them out of the poll. And then Marist, they were at number 10. They moved up to number 9 after the St. Pius loss.
All right, let's go to Class 3A here. You had Sandy Creek. They defeated Hughes in a closely contested matchup, 49-47. Jacob Richardson dropped 15 points in that one. And then Cherokee Bluff lost to top-ranked Lambert, 78-67.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that that was pretty much how Sandy Creek opened the season. We're in week 5 of the rankings. They've not played a game yet, and they opened their season with 3 wins, including that 49-47 win over Langston Hughes. That is very impressive. When you have teams that have been playing for weeks already, battle tested, coming out, opening your season with a 3-0 start. So they rose to number 3 in the polls. I think they're obviously on the move. You still have Cedar Grove at number 1. They are playing outstanding. They're in that circuit, just playing the top teams in the state. Upson Lee moved up from number 8 to number 7 this week. And then looks like Doherty dropped down to number 10. I think they had some issues with some of the players they thought were going to be able to transfer onto the team. They have been waiting to see if it would be approved, but they haven't. So they are looking to rebuild. Still a top 10 team, though, that has had success in the past.
All right, let's go to Class 2A. Obviously, you had Columbia. They played Southwest DeKalb, a close loss for them, 65-48. And then the one I want to point out and get your opinion on this, Craig, is Kip Atlanta. Lost a close one, but showed that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Lost to Holly Innocence, 63-62. Shane Bynum went off for 25 points and 11 boards.
Yep, so Kip Atlanta, they are new to the poll. They had the 63-62 loss to Holy Innocence.
Yep.
That is, not many times do you have a loss put people in the rankings, but being able to go head-to-head with a team like Holy Innocence, that's a huge sign. They are the real deal for sure. Shane Bynum had 25 points, 11 rebounds, and had 3 3-pointers in that win. Laney is also on the move. They rose to number 8 this week. And then, let me see. So you got Kip Atlanta number 5, South Atlanta at number 4, Butler at 3, and Salem fell down to number 9 this week. And you got Spencer new to the poll. They knocked out Thompson at number 10.
And then Class A Division I, let's go there. The team I want to mention is Best Academy. Picked up 2 wins against Mount Bethel, 50-48, and Kings Ridge, 69-65. And Model lost a close one to Darlington this past week. Mount Bethel has a kid to watch out for, too, a true freshman. I throw it to you, Craig.
Yeah, I like Model, even though they're off to this 1-2 start. They've played every team very close, so they haven't moved too much. You mentioned, was that Best Academy? The win over Mount Bethel. Mount Bethel was at number 10 in the poll last week. Very solid program in the Class A private, so that was a top 10 win for them. You also have, Towers moved up to number 6 this week. You got Temple making a move up to number 7, and then Vidalia replaced Swainsboro in the poll. Swainsboro had been waiting to start their season. Looked like they opened up with a loss. So Vidalia takes over with a 3-1 start at number 10.
All right, let's go to Class A Division II. Some key results here. Mitchell County went 3-0 this past week. McIntosh Academy, they lost a close one to Brunswick, 60-54 in that one. And then Calhoun County defeated Mitchell County, 68-44.
Yeah, so you have Savannah at number 1 with a 2-1 start. But you mentioned Calhoun County. This is a pretty significant result. They played Mitchell County. They were ranked in the top 10. They won 68-44, so a huge margin right there. They're undefeated at 6-0. Randolph Clay also had a great week. They improved to 6-0 on the season. Manchester is still waiting to open their season. They're out of the football playoffs now, so they'll probably get some of their guys back and be ready to roll. Mount Zion Carroll, they are new to my poll this week. They come in at number 9, and they replaced Portal at that position.
All right, let's go to Class A 3A private really quickly. I'll let you get Holly Innocence. I just want to mention Green Forest. They picked up a top-ranked win against top-ranked Doherty, 64-43, a team to watch in Class A 3A private.
Yeah, I mean, Holy Innocence, I think just coming from Class 4A last year where they made it to the finals, lost a close one to North Oconee, I still think they have the talent to lead this classification. Green Forest, they're outstanding, though. And then this week, the big jump was Mount Vernon. They had exited the poll, and then they came back and had a huge win over St. Francis, and that's why they are at number 6. And you see St. Francis at number 7. That one went into, I believe, 3 overtimes.
100%. All right, guys, those are our latest rankings report via boys basketball. That's all we got for now. Coming up, we will talk a little bit to Hayden Gilbert about GEC coming right up here on Peachtree Sports Network.
Dang, where you get this car?
Yeah, I'm already knowing.
The union?
How come we never do the girls' rankings? How come we never do the girls' rankings?
Because I think it's supposed to be 7.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and
and
the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction.
All right.
Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
Do you want? Yeah.
A journeyman with Local 85 when you turn out, you can be hitting six figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
The Mechanical Trades Institute is an opportunity towards personal financial freedom through hands-on and rewarding work. Our school is completely free and gives apprentices the knowledge and skills required to gain access to a lifelong career path. Apprentices learn pipe fitting, plumbing, mechanical service, and welding. They earn money as they learn and graduate with no student debt. Start a career with the Mechanical Trades Institute and change your financial future.
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
Great players have played in this event that's going on to play in college and had some big-time offers.
Well, I mean, if we're just looking at like this year's senior class, the 2025 class, their freshman team in 2021, I mean, the roster had 10 4-stars and 1 5-star. I mean, some of the names from this list: Jaden Harmon, Antoine Hill, Zayden Walker, Antavius Richardson, Landon Merritt, Christian Garrett, and it just goes on and on. Mason Short, Nick Brooks. Like, there's just so many guys on this roster that have gone on to, they're going to sign with, or they have signed with major D1 universities, including Georgia, Alabama, Texas, all these major D1 universities, and we see this every year. I mean, you look at this year's 2025 class that played in last year. We still had Tay Harris, Christian Smith, who's signed at UCF. DJ Avery, who's at Georgia State, Tommy Lafayette, who we don't know where he's going, but just decommitted from Stanford, and once again, Antavius Richardson, who's going to Notre Dame. There's just so much talent that plays in this every year. And then actually, based off of that talent, going to that senior class, a lot of notable players was in there. Kevin Smith, or KJ, I should say, KJ Smith, obviously, who was at Roswell, had a really great career, went off to D2, and then obviously Fran Brown, who was another big-time player for Coffee, who Craig really liked. What have you just been hearing about some of the seniors that played this event last year? The big thing is these seniors, they come in, a lot of them are like KJ Smith, a little undersized, 6'2", or not 6'2", but like 5'11", 180 pounds, but are really talented. And right at the beginning of the D2, D3 NAIA recruiting period, because they don't normally recruit as early, you're getting on TV, you're getting to a really good situation where you can, because there's only so many spots, and especially for positions like quarterback and running back, where you're only going to take 1 or 2. So like KJ Smith was able to get in front of eyes early on in these smaller school recruiting windows, and then Fred Brown, I think, is just a little smaller. I think he's 5'8", 5'9", but 220-pound running back that led the engine behind that state title run. And then he comes in. He has a really good game there. He has a really good career. And then I think he ends up at Fort Valley State and becomes a D2 guy. While not like, we all sit there and go, oh, he's not a D1 guy, but they're still really good players, and these are still really good schools, and you're still playing college football. Okay, before I bring Craig in, I do want to ask just a little bit about players that you know that are probably going to play. Which ones are you both? It's a question to both of you guys. Are you excited maybe to see?
Harrison Spencer from South Forsyth.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think he's going to dominate. He's very motivated. Experienced receiver, led his team offensively this year. I think that he is tailor-made for an all-star event like this. I think he's ready to go. He's been waiting for this moment.
I'll second that. Like, he's Harrison Spencer. I think he's underrated, mainly because of the team he plays on. Southside didn't have a great season. They haven't had a great season in a few years, but he is just one of those guys that's 6'1", 6'2", 180 pounds. He shows everything you want to have in a FCS wide receiver. And I think he's gotten some of those FCS offers recently.
For sure. And I mean, when Rusty and IJ, when they talk about playing in the senior game, opening up opportunities, it's just 100% true. We've seen schools like Reinhardt, Shorter, a lot of the smaller schools, some bigger, some Ivy League schools. I mean, every year we see stories where the seniors are able to come out in this game, talk to Rusty, and just the way the early signing period goes, there's still opportunities. And I think playing in this game also shows that these kids are serious about wanting to play at the next level. They're putting their name after. They're saying, we aren't done yet. Playing in the senior game is a huge deal. I'm almost done with the class of 2023 and 2024. I've gone through it, and just a teaser real quick for some of these names. I mean, guys like Philip Eichletzer from Walton. You look at last year's team, they had so much talent. Well, he's at Princeton now. You see all these guys that you remember playing that went to smaller schools that weren't in that top 250 list for recruits on the year that have played in this event and gone on to colleges. In the class of 2023, there's probably, I'm at 140 guys that either played as a sophomore or junior. So we went through all the rosters, and there's probably 80 different colleges represented in that 140. That's how, I mean, these kids are going all over the place.
No, and there's just so much, and when you get to lower grade levels, I think is where like this event really shines. While the seniors are very much for getting these older players recruited, you look at like last year's 2028 class. There's already at least 5 guys that have offers. I mean, Bode Spence just got an offer from Georgia State like 30 minutes ago. I mean, he's just, and then you have other players like Luke Neighbors, who is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if next year by the time he graduates, he's a 5-star edge rusher. I mean, he's so talented. Other players, Hunter Hill, Kylan Pope, Kevin Hughes Jr., all have D1 offers as true freshmen.
100%. I think that's what makes the event so exciting, is that we get to get a glimpse into what the future kind of holds with top-end players that end up kind of breaking out. One I'm excited for, if he ends up playing, is Casey Barner. What he did with Douglas Atlanta this year, he was phenomenal. I can't wait to see how his game has progressed. In terms of just the event and the promotion of the event, just what's the latest you're hearing? Will it be maybe another showcase for kids that want to participate? What's the latest around that?
I'm not sure about the showcase. They were talking about doing it this weekend. I think it's all going to depend on the next 2 or 3 days of how many players. We're filling up fast. Like, there's only a handful of spots left, and most of these, like, we're way ahead of schedule of where we were last year. Last year we had some struggles, especially on offensive defensive line. This year it's really starting to fill up really quickly. It's going really well.
Yeah, and then let me ask real quick. I want to get your thoughts on this too, Craig. The flag football component, I don't want to forget that. How excited are you guys to just watch some of these girls? We had them at obviously at our Score Atlanta Awards, got to honor some of them. How excited are you guys to see flag football portion of this event in addition?
I'm very excited. So one of the things that, I mean, if you watch the show, Najee and I talk a lot about, hey, this person balled out at the Georgia Elite Classic. I think a perfect example, remember Ben Guthrie from Alpharetta?
Yes.
He went in there, not the biggest quarterback. He absolutely tore it up. And then we saw that, and then that kind of put him on the map. So I think that's what the key for the flag is going to be for us. Just, we've seen some games this year. We'll obviously get to watch the state championship, but this will be a lot of girls, some of them underclassmen, that we're going to get to see play in this all-star event. And then once this next season rolls around, it's not going to be a secret on who impresses us and who is going to be one of the top players.
100%. Out of all these games, Hayden, which one are you most excited to see? Obviously, you can't say sophomore or freshman, so I'm ruling that one out. I know that's everybody's game. But out of the rest of those, 7th, 8th, seniors, juniors, which one are you excited to see?
I always loved the 8th grade game. There's so many guys, like I was saying, last year Bode Spence came in, had no idea who he was. But by the end of spring, he already had his first offer from, I think, Miami of Ohio. And you're like, wow, this. And you get to see this year Landon G, Ryan G's younger brother, monster. I think he's gonna be a high 4-star, 5-star tight end or linebacker or lineman. Lord, by the time he graduates, just unbelievably dominant. I think he's already 6'4", 6'5". He's just a massive human being, built completely different than his brother. But going out and being able to see these guys so young and start building these relationships is a lot of fun.
No, it 100% is. I'm excited too. I think I agree with you. 8th grade game is good. We got to see Trucker Jordan last year. That's going to kind of be the next guy up. I mean, a great name. He's going to be the next guy up for Carrollton going forward for their program. But just get to see such young talent, early on. And like you just said about the girls, just being able to identify and build those relationships.
Yes, and we saved that freshman, sophomore for last. If you watched that game last year, it was unbelievable. You had Brody McCorder for the sophomores. You had Max Brown making plays defensively for the freshmen. So that'll be the finale. But I agree with Hayden. I really like the 8th grade game. There's always just guys that really impress us. And we called it last year, just the tackling and preparation for those guys. I thought it was really impressive. And also the juniors, that class of 2026 is loaded.
Yes, it is. But all right, guys, that is the GEC. It's all the time that we have. Appreciate Hayden coming on and talking about the latest there. We'll have more updates as we continue to go on. All right, coming up, we'll talk about the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Basketball Classic right here on Peachtree Sports Network. All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Nigel Wilkins along with Craig Sagers. And now it's time to talk about our event that will be playing next week, starting on Friday, December 20th at Norcross High School, and then December 21st at McEachern High School. A great day of hoops. Super excited. Me and Craig will be on the call for this one. But let's go ahead and pull up that graphic if we do have it, the Corky Kell Dave Hunter basketball graphic with just the matchups, and leave that up there and talk just a little bit about them, Craig. Redan Heritage boys, you talked about the big matchup tonight, so I know you're going to be kind of following this a little bit. But from what you've seen this season, what do you think about Heritage boys and just what they can bring to the table this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously when they're playing Grayson, that's not many teams are going to be able to keep pace with them. They got beat pretty handily in that one, but now they're going to get to regroup. They've also played, I believe, Grovetown. They're in a tough region. I think this this matchup, knowing how tough the region tournament's going to be, knowing that they've played the best teams in the state within their own region, I think it's just a good opportunity for them to get on TV, play this early game, a 2 o'clock start against Redan. Redan's very athletic. But Heritage, to me, they seem like a program that's trying to get just established as a playoff team. So they need big games like this in order to get to that point.
I agree. I just want to see how they rebound. The year before they went 10-20, they were 18-9. You know, tough year last year. Armand Smith led them in scoring. Just want to see what steps he could take forward. And like you said, just continue to establish themselves as one of those better programs here in the state. All right, our next matchup, Clarkston versus North Springs. That should be a good one. A 3:30 kickoff for that one. Clarkston went 4-21 last season. They lost 5 seniors, so a very young group. They will return to Sean Porter as well, and also have North Springs, who was 10-20 last year, lost in the second round to Winterboro. Will return Robert Harris, who averaged 8.4 points per game.
Yeah, so both these teams lost a lot of seniors, very young team. I think that one should be a pretty even matchup, and then we'll have our first girls game, Norcross against North Paulding. What do you think this is going to do, just the first girls game of the event? How close do you think this matchup's going to be?
I think it's going to be very intriguing. We've talked about Justice Fitzgerald and what she can do. Janasia Spears, another one who they were able to get kind of coming over, I believe it from what was from DeKalb. But I'm curious to see. I think North Paulding has a very good team. We look at Ava Kendricks and what she can do, and you look at, obviously, their star freshman, who I believe his name is Kenzie Hickson. I think this is going to be the coming out party for some of their core players. Now, obviously, Andrew, she's already committed to the University of Delaware, so she's gonna she's already kind of established herself. But some of those younger players, and Norcross is a state title contender. You know what they can do with Coach Clinton and how good their front court is. Don't have the same guards as they had last year, but a really good front court that's going to make them dangerous.
Yeah, that's huge. Obviously, Norcross has had some of the best guards in the state, and so you're going to have a true freshman, Kenzie Hinkson. And as you guys have, you mentioned in the preview, she's already picked up a Jack State offer before she even entered high school. So going up against Norcross on the road, on TV, pretty exciting for the freshmen right there. And then talk about our first out-of-state team, Najee, Pinson Valley. They're going to be squaring off with Norcross. What do you know about them?
Yeah, let's pull up the graphic one more time. I do want to talk about that one. Thank you. Pinson Valley, so they are out of state. I've been talking about them a little bit. Obviously, Norcross has a really good team, but when you look at what Pinson Valley can do, names to know in this one. Austin Connor, he averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals per game as well. Another player to watch would be Quay Lynch, averaged 9.3 points per game. Started to come on later in the year, scored 15 or more points in the final 2 of their 3 games. So there are going to be some names to watch, but I feel like a matchup that's really good. Norcross recently just played in the Huntsville Classic and played a couple Alabama teams. And Norcross, they're just loaded, right? You look at, obviously, Jerron Salisbury, right? The Connors Healy's of the world. They got this really good big man named Clinton, who's also really good. So I feel like Norcross is going to be dangerous. They're still figuring some things out, obviously, but this team is, I think, light years ahead compared to last year's team.
Yeah, and it's just huge anytime you have an out-of-state team playing in the Corky Kell. That hasn't happened much even in the 30-year history of the football classic. I think Hoover is the only team to ever do that. We do have some out-of-state, though, in our 7-on-7. I think you do a good job of highlighting a lot of these Alabama programs, and it's a big opportunity for them to come to Atlanta. All right, so we'll be at McEachern for day 2. Let's talk about these matchups real quick. Put up the graphic. 4 more matchups.
Yeah, so Newton and West Forsyth, I think, will be a really good one. Newton is off to a pretty good start this year. Davin Neal is going to be one to know there. He just continues to play really well. The Appalachian State commit, and they have one of the most underrated point guards in the state, and Marcus Smith, that no one talks about. Still hasn't committed yet, but a very shifty guard, get to the rim, finish, create chances for his teammates as well. And they have a really good coaching staff I like as well. Now, West Forsyth, they played really well last year, ended up picking a victory. The name to watch there is going to be Grayson Smith. He continues to have a really good year. You know, obviously, this is kind of a rebuild year for West Forsyth a little bit, but they have some really good core young players. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do there. And then McEachern and St. Francis. St. Francis, 24-7 last year, won back-to-back state titles, defeating Galloway 74-71 in the thriller there. But the sophomore to watch in that one, Gianni Rogers, she second leader scorer with averaging 13.6 points per game for them. And then McEachern is always a tough out.
For sure. And yeah, real quick, I do remember Grayson Smith last year. Very efficient scorer. He'll take his shot if he has an opening. He won't take any bad shots. So he had a great performance. You mentioned, McEachern, St. Francis. That'll be a tremendous matchup.
And you'll get to see Chelsea Njoku, Miss Georgia, and Ava Cousins probably in that matchup.
For sure, yeah. We'll be at McEachern a lot that month. Also for Georgia Elite after that. So we got another girls matchup. Josie is coming up, and they're going to play West Forsyth.
Yep.
That'll be the 3 p.m. matchup.
Yeah, that should be really good. Josie was a state runner-up last year, lost to Mount Perry. They got a really good team. Carrie Fuwellen and is Maya Jenkins, another star out there for them. West Forsyth has a really good crew as well. Sydney Neal, Ella Cohen, and obviously Marley Raymond, who's committed to Penn State to play soccer. Last but not least, as we wrap up for this one, Riverwood versus McEachern. We talked about Mason McCullum and his 20 points and 6 assists recently. Riverwood kind of having a tough start to it. We knew that's what it's going to kind of be with them losing so much talent. But I think they're ironing out the Kings 4-4 so far this year. Obviously, the name to know there is Stetson commit J.R. Leonard.
Yeah, so he is a 4-star, and obviously was a huge part of that run last year to their first ever state title. And then we talked about McEachern starting to really pick up some big signature wins. They have a roster that looks a lot different this year. Well-rounded. I think that should be a great matchup. Absolutely. Excited to see what Riverwood brings to the table.
100%. Well, guys, that's all the time that we have for today. Coming up tomorrow, hopefully we'll be able to get Hebron Christian head coach Jonathan Guest on. But make sure you come back right here on the Peachtree Sports Network tomorrow from 12 to 1 p.m.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting gogcso.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together we can make a difference.
Basic Combat Training is a 10-week experience that will challenge you both physically and mentally. Each phase of your training will introduce you to new soldier skills, building and advancing them along the way. You and your fellow soldiers will work as a team to accomplish each mission, overcome each obstacle, and earn the right to wear the black beret of an Army National Guard soldier.